All right, so I wanted to comment on a video my friend make kind of a reaction video, even though I saw this video already. But my friend Rabbi Asher Meza is on the Zunzine. He should be well. He should be blessed. He should be healthy. Uh, he's only explaining himself why he is not Hasidic, so which I don't have any issue with, but I do have some respectful wie heißt es, commentary, more than that, criticism of what Rabbi Meza is saying here. So let's watch what he's saying here, and then we'll react a little bit. All right.
You choose to. I don't completely understand how it works, but like, what makes you choose to be Orthodox rather than like Hasidic?
So first, someone is asking a question. Why do you choose to be Orthodox rather than Hasidic? Well, most people would contend, maybe not everyone agrees. I know, what's his name, Moshe Ben Chaim, he disagrees, definitely. Or I don't know, I haven't read his things recently, but I know in the past he felt that Hasidic Judaism was not Orthodox. But the vast majority of Orthodox Jews would agree that Hasidic Judaism is Orthodoxy. However, I think, some of the criticisms that Rabbi Meza is bringing out here, we're going to see, are valid, but it has to be balanced. So let's listen.
I'm not a big fan of Kabbalah, which by definition means I can't really be Hasidic. Hasidut was created by the Baal Shem Tov, but it was a connection of the students of the Baal Shem Tov to Shabtai Tzvi. I mean, the teachings of the Arizal, I think, are extremely destructive. And if you want to see how destructive, just look at someone who took the teachings of the Arizal literally, Nathan of Gaza. The idea that one way of gathering what's called the netzitzot, the sparks, is actually by doing evil, by breaking Torah commands. I think, look, if you want to study Kabbalah, like if you want to be Hasidic, that's up to you. I mean, some people want to do more. I mean, some people want to wear a reko and a bekisha. Fine, and I'll tell you, the average Hasid doesn't force it on other people. I mean, he does his own thing. He wants to live alone in Mea Shearim, whatever. That's fine. That's why I'm not Hasidic, because I'm not very mystically inclined.
All right, so it's fair to say someone's not mystically inclined, but to insult the Ariya Kodesh in that way is very problematic. First of all, the major fights, that there were between the Hasidim and the Misnagdim, were both sides were Kabbalists. There was no real concept of a non-Kabbalistic rational movement in the time when the Baal Shem Tov came about. All the question was how much emphasis, yes or no, on. But certainly the Vilna Gaon was a great Kabbalist, and he was the main opponent of the Hasidic movement, of the Baal Shem Tov. I agree 100% that it's wrong and dangerous for people to take the Kabbalah literally, but that was never the intention of the Ariya Kodesh. The Arizal never said to take Kabbalah literally. Kabbalah is meant to be the poetry to the prose of halacha, and we have, just like in every other realm, you have both poetry and prose. The Kabbalah is the poetry of Judaism, or it is a poetry of Judaism, maybe not the only one. And the prose is the halacha, even though there's a lot of obvious poetic aspects of the halacha, including in the Rambam, and certainly in the Shulchan Aruch, and in the Ramah, and the other, all of the halachic poskim were great poets, and a lot of the Jewish poetry, the piyutim, are Kabbalistic. My ancestor, the Chavos Yoer, and his family, also my ancestors, his father and his grandfather and so forth, were great poets, and their poetry was always Kabbalistic, meaning they would invoke shemos, sacred names, and so forth in their Kabbalah, well before the Baal Shem Tov, and within the realm of the German Jewry that are today known to be the anti-mystics, the rationalists. So to say this, that it's the, what is that, a fox? Yeah. To say this, that it's the mystics, who just brought the destruction of the Shabtai Tzvi. It's because of a perversion of mysticism, just like there's perversion of scripture and all kinds of things, So, just like other religions, they'll take our scripture and take verses out of context and create a new theology that is contrary to our theology. That doesn't mean you throw out the baby with the bathwater. It doesn't mean you throw out the scripture. And so too, the Ariya Kodesh also. You don't throw away the Ariya Kodesh just because a cult like Shabtai Tzvi and his protege Nathan of Avaza or Jacob Frank, all these Yimach Shemam v'Zichrom. They just because they were claiming to use Kabbalistic terminology in their writings and in their ideology and actions, doesn't mean that they're right, and doesn't mean that they're true Kabbalists. The essence of Kabbalah is your Shemayim. You learn the Shari Kedusha of the Arizal. It's all about keeping halacha very strictly, and being from, not the heresy and the antinomianism of the Sabbateans and the Frankists. So, with that being said, that's essentially, the message that I want to bring out here is that the Kabbalah is not about antinomianism at all. It's about very strict adherence to halacha, very strict adherence to piety, to Judaism, just like we learned now from the Kedushas Levi. Furthermore, certainly in our circles, like we said, the Satmarov, who wouldn't be classically called Hasidic, he was very strong against the Sabbateanism and so forth. So with a lot of, and the thing is, I know that Rabbi Meza understands that these communities, these are pious communities, and they're not seeking any antinomianism. Even Lubavitch, the truth is, even though they might be heteronormative in some of their approach to things, they are not antinomian. They are pious. They're adhering to halacha. Now, this concept of first of all, of bringing up nitzotzos, of bringing up sparks, that comes from being pious and doing mitzvahs, not from breaking commandments in any way. But the thing is that when a person sins and repents, then they can, they can also be lifting up sparks, but that doesn't give anyone the right to intentionally sin, and so, like, you have the Ishbitzer school, which were radically predestined predestinationalists, almost, the Jewish equivalent of the Calvinists, and yet they let me see what's going on here. And yet they're very different than the Calvinists in two very strong ways. But the big thing is that they did not become antinomian. I can't even turn it on. It smells a little weird. I don't know. Car's acting weird. All right. So anyway, that's the story. But certainly, like the Satmarer, who again are not classical Hasidic, they're more traditional Hungarian with some Hasidic practices. I think that's a more normal way, because it's not the obsession with Hasidism, but rather just with piety. And if Hasidism and Kabbalah help one in the piety, it's good. But if they lead to antinomianism, it's wrong. So that's my answer here. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. How do I turn this off? This